Hello guys, welcome to FMCG channel. I am your host Shaunak. So in this particular video we'll be focusing on sentiment analysis. Along with sentiment analysis, I'll be also discussing about subjectivity analysis. And we are not going to build any particular model over here. We are just going to use pre-trained models which are readily available on internet to analyze our text. So sentiment analysis is basically where you analyze your given text and tell whether the sentiment in that particular text is positive or negative or neutral. And the libraries that we are going to focus on is, first one is Vader, second is TextBlob, and then we'll be focusing on Spacy. And this is going to be a short video because I don't want to take much of your time, and it is as easy as writing just 2 to 3 lines of code. That this text blob in particular takes the least amount of code. The run about of this particular notebook will be, first I'll show how to install those particular libraries and then how to use that particular code. And if you want to refer this particular notebook, it is hosted on GitHub, and I have posted the link in the description. And first one, Vader, it only takes 6 lines of code. So let's dive in. Here I have just typed in 3 texts. First one is positive, second one is neutral, and third one is negative. So you can check it out. You can also enter your own text. So first one is, I enjoy learning new stuff, positive. Second one is, Thursday is the day, which is totally neutral. And third one is, the food at the restaurant was horrible, the service was terrible, so totally negative. And first library we'll be checking out is Vader. So for Vader, usually NLTK is mostly present with the Python code. If not, you can pip install it, and you can import NLTK, and from NLTK you can download Vader lexicon from nltk.download Vader lexicon, and let us execute this particular code. So it is saying downloading package, output is true, so it has downloaded. And then from Vader lexicon we will import from nltk.sentiment.vader import sentiment intensity analyzer. So we are going to make use of this particular thing, sentiment intensity analyzer, to analyze our text. And after executing this, I'll save this sentiment intensity analyzer as sid equal to sentiment intensity analyzer. Done. And in this sid I'll be making use of polarity scores. And in this particular method of polarity scores, I'll be passing in our text. So first text was positive text. So if I execute this, okay, so we have not executed this, let me just quickly execute this. And after that, if I execute this, we are getting this particular dictionary where key values are negative, neutral, positive. And the thing which we want is, we are going to focus on this compound because this compound gives the normalized value. So this compound value ranges from -1 to +1. So -1 is for the most negative sentiment, outright negative, and +1 is for outright positive. 0 is for the neutral sentence. So let us just ignore this and let us loop over our texts just to find out how it predicts. First one is positive, second is neutral, and third is negative. And text is a list of all these 3 texts. So let us loop over it. For text in texts, print, first let us print the text, and then its prediction. Analysis sid dot polarity scores, and here we have to pass in the text. So if and let me also add a demarker so it is easy to visualize. Yeah, so first text, I enjoy learning new stuff. Analysis, focus on the compound, it is above 0, so it is a positive sentiment. Second one, Thursday is a day, so it is a neutral, as our human minds can tell us. So analysis, negative 0, positive 0, neutral 1, so compound is 0. And third one was negative, the food at the restaurant was horrible, the service was terrible. So analysis, negative 0.423, neutral 0.577, and in compound if you see, it is giving a score of minus 0.765, so totally negative. So that's all for Vader. It was very simple. So just let us check 1 2 3 4, and this, if you see this for individual text, it is basically 5 lines of code. So here I have written 6, so that was for this print statement, but we just needed 5 lines of code. Next one is TextBlob. So if TextBlob is not installed, you can do pip install TextBlob. You can run this in your environment, or if you are using Jupyter Notebook, you can use exclamatory mark and then do pip install TextBlob. So I have already installed TextBlob, so if I execute this, it will show requirements already satisfied, but for a demonstration purpose, let me just execute this. Yeah, so I am getting requirement already satisfied because I have already installed TextBlob in my system. So let us begin. Import TextBlob. That's all I have to do. And the next thing, print, or we will just directly loop. Let me just show you one example for sentiment analysis. So TextBlob dot, and in TextBlob I have to type TextBlob, and here I have to enter the text. So let us use text1, which was the positive text, and for this particular object, TextBlob object, you can either use polarity to get the sentiment analysis. Executing it, you will get this particular score. So it is above 0, so it is giving us a positive value, so it is interpreting it as a positive sentiment. And if you want to check the subjectivity, instead of polarity, type subjectivity. So it is telling it is 0.4, so subjectivity lies between 0 and 1. So 0 means it is not subjective at all, and higher the value towards 1, it means it is very much subjective. So first text was, I enjoy learning new stuff, but this is a subjective statement because its value is above 0, because there might be few who may not enjoy learning. So this particular model TextBlob is interpreting it as positive, that is it is very subjective. So if you see, just in 2 lines of code, you are able to analyze the text, whether it is you can do sentiment analysis on the text, and as well as you can do subjective analysis. So let us just loop over it. Let us see what it predicts for the other 2 texts. For text in texts, print, let us first print the text for our understanding. Text. And then on next line, let us sentiment analysis. Here I will write TextBlob dot TextBlob, and then I'll pass in the text, and then type polarity. This will give me sentiment analysis. And then on next line I will do subjective. subjective analysis, and here I'll type text blob. Let me take this on the next line. Text blob dot text blob, and here I'll pass in the text, and here instead of polarity I'll call subjectivity. All right. And let me just enter a demarker over here for our understanding. Yeah, so if you see the first, it is using text blob. First text was I enjoy learning new stuff. Sentiment analysis 0.26, so above 0 means positive. Subjective analysis 0.47. Second one was Thursday is a day, so for sentiment analysis it is 0, so a neutral. And subjective analysis again 0, so it is a totally non-subjective analysis. So if it was above 0, then we could have interpreted it as being subjective. Third one is the food at the restaurant was horrible, the service was terrible, so totally negative. So it has interpreted it as such, -1, so totally negative. And subjective analysis as 1, which means it is very much subjective. That's all for text blob, which took the minimum lines of code. Now coming on to the third one, which is Spacy. So for Spacy, it is a huge library, so it has a lot of functions and usages. So not only for sentiment analysis, but sentiment analysis is one of the parts of Spacy library. So if you want to install Spacy, I have included the instructions over here. So depending on your system, which system you are using, and the environment setup which you have done, I have entered the link for Spacy over here. If you click on it, it will take you to Spacy web page, install Spacy. So if you are using Mac OS or Linux or Windows, so I am using Linux, so I have selected Linux platform x86, the package manager. So in my case, I have used Conda. I am using GPU and CUDA 11.7, and I am using Spacy for English language. So I have selected English, and then the code that you want for installing Spacy is they display it over here, the code, and you just have to execute this code line by line. So what I did was I opened up my Anaconda PowerShell, and in my Anaconda shell I executed these individual lines of code one by one to install Spacy. Once that was done, coming back to Jupyter Notebook, once that was done, I did pip install Spacy TextBlob, because for sentiment analysis I'll be making use of this Spacy TextBlob. And for Spacy you have 3 models for English language. So first one is the lightweight model, which is a small model. The size is around 70 to 80 MB, and sorry, my bad, the size is I'm not sure about the size. I guess the size for small, let us see whether we are able to find the size. English language 4 packages, sorry, my bad, I clicked on Danish. Yeah, so if you see, the small version is of 12 MB. Encore WebSM, small version is of 12 MB. If you want to check the medium version, that size is 40 MD. And if you want to check the large version, which is a heavyweight, so its size is 560 MB, the large size. So depending upon the requirement, you can select the model which you want to use. Since I only wanted to do sentiment analysis, I selected the small version, the lightweight one. And how to implement, I have mentioned the code over here, you can use that as well. So import Spacy, and upon importing Spacy you also have to build the pipeline. So for that, from Spacy TextBlob dot Spacy TextBlob, import Spacy TextBlob. Okay, and then you build the pipeline nlp equal to Spacy dot load. So here you are loading the model English core web small sm, and then nlp dot add pipe, and here you have to pass in this Spacy TextBlob. So that is done. So now we can start passing the statements. So you create a document for every text. So let us save that particular object in this variable called doc. So doc equal to nlp, and here we will pass in the text. So first one was the positive one, so let us pass it. And then to see the sentiment analysis, you can type doc dot underscore dot blob, again dot, then polarity, and upon executing it, it is giving us a positive score of 0.268, so which means it is a positive sentiment. So similar to polarity, we also have subjectivity. So subjectivity, it is giving us a score of 0.477. So it is saying that it is a subjective comment. So let us quickly loop over our text. So we had in total 3 texts. So let us loop over all of them. For text in texts, so doc equal to our nlp pipeline, will be passing the text through it, and then let us print. So text will be text, and on the next line sentiment analysis, and let us pass it as doc dot underscore dot blob dot polarity, and on the next line, or on the same line, let's say subjectivity analysis doc. Let me take it on the next line, subjectivity analysis equal to doc dot underscore dot blob dot subjectivity. Now let me execute it, and let me just add in a demarker for our understanding. So if you see text number 1, I enjoy learning new stuff, sentiment analysis 0.268, subjectivity analysis 0.477. Second was a neutral statement, Thursday is a day, so sentiment analysis 0, subjectivity analysis 0, which means it is totally non-subjective. And third one, again sentiment, and the food at the restaurant was horrible, the service was terrible, so totally negative. So sentiment analysis is -1, so totally negative statement and sentiment. And subjective analysis is 1 because it is interpreting the statement as highly subjective. So that's all for all these three libraries: Vader, TextBlob and Spacy. So as you can see, it is very easy to do sentiment and analysis using pre-existing models. There are other models available on internet as well, but these three are very easy to use. You can also build your own sentiment analysis model using the corpus of text, but you can use deep learning for that, and it takes some good amount of time to train your model, and it is a lengthy method. So instead of that, if you don't want to learn machine learning but still want to do sentiment analysis or subjective analysis, you can use one of the pre-existing models: Vader, TextBlob and Spacy. You just need to know the Python code, or even if you don't know the Python code, you can just copy paste the code that I have entered it over here. That's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this particular demo. So I tried to keep it as simple as possible, and if you found this helpful, please let me know in the comment. And if you want me to cover any other specific topic related to machine learning or data science or Python, you can let me know in the comment section. I am Shaunak signing off. You take care. Bye.